I've been preparing for the GMAT for over 2 years. I took a mock test recently. I scored a meager 565 on it. Therefore, GMAT is not right for me. I quit. That, in a sense, is the message I got from a GMAT student I've been in touch with recently. I'm making this video to tell you why basing such a decision on such a data point is misinformed. Let's say you've been preparing for a while, you've been going through a course, material online, you've been doing questions, and overall you see a lot of positives. Your accuracy has been going up, your speed's been going up, your confidence level's been going up. So you feel good and you decide, all right, let's see whether I've truly been preparing well or not. Let me take a mock test. Now, that was a red flag right there. Let me see whether I have been truly preparing well or not. If you're taking a mock test to evaluate your preparation so far, then you are essentially setting yourself up for disappointment in most cases. The objective of a mock test is not to tell you whether you've been preparing well or not. The objective of a mock test is to tell you what else needs work. That's all. It's not an evaluation of the past. It's a step to help you figure out what needs to be done in the future. It's like, let's say, a cricketer has been practicing and preparing in the nets for batting for a while. So they've got their batting technique down. They've been working on their timing and all those aspects in the nets. And then they decide, let's see whether my batting skills have truly improved or not. Let me go play a match. Now, does playing well in the match require those batting skills? Yes. But are those the only skills required? No. To play well in a match, your temperament matters, your match awareness matters. So many new aspects that you weren't exposed to in the nets come up. For some people, it might just come naturally to them. They might not even need to work on improving in those match related aspects. But for many others, they might need to actually now specifically work on their temperament, how they deal with the match situation, and get better at those aspects also. The same principle applies to the GMAT. So you've been working on quant, verbal, and data insights. You've been improving in those. Great. That's like improving in batting in the nets. But now when you go and take a test, there's so many new aspects. You now get mixed bag questions typically when you prepare. Students prepare one section at a time. Okay, I'm going to work on critical reasoning assumptions today and things like that. But in an exam, you get mixed bag, CR assumptions, followed by reading comprehension, humanities based passage, and then some more critical reasoning, boldface, paradox, strengthen, reading comprehension, science, and verbal, followed by quant, followed by data insights, or some other sequence. So mixed bag of questions thrown at you one after another. That potentially could be a reason for the scores not being at the level you expect, for example. So there's a bunch of questions I would ask to try and figure out how did you deal with things. So mixed bag could be a concern, could be something that you need to work on. How about stamina? Are you able to concentrate and perform your best till the last question in the last section? 3 sections, 45 minutes each with only 10 minutes break in the middle. How well do you cope with that? How about concentration? Some people start losing concentration soon. For some people, it takes them a while to get concentrated. So the initial few questions kind of become warm-up questions for them. How about the ability to let go? Instead of being stuck on one question for, let's say, 10 minutes in an exam, and then as a consequence compromising the remaining section, are you able to realize at a fairly early point that the question is hard for you and therefore it's best to leave it, or at least bookmark it, and then you can come back to it later. So there are a lot of test taking related aspects that would not have been a part of your preparation until this point. Preparing for quant verbal and DI would not have automatically prepared you for these things. So you potentially could need conscious work to improve in these new aspects that have come up as well. I'll share a story. One of my students, after preparing for 6 months with me, got a 460 in the first mock test they took, 460. And then we started decoding each mock test, analyzing, figuring out patterns, figuring out what behavioral aspects did the students show. For example, they weren't even finishing sections. The initial 4 or 5 questions were wrong or were taking a very long time in each section. So in the first section, sorry. So one strategy we devised was that they can practice some questions even before the test starts, easy level questions, just to kind of get warmed up. They weren't finishing sections, they were taking too long and getting stuck on questions. As a consequence, for example, they had 6 minutes and 5 questions left. And so they tried to go through all 5 questions quickly. They ended up rushing. Even when you give a proper 2 minutes per question, even then their accuracy was around 80%. So giving yourself barely over a minute made their accuracy significantly lower. A better strategy could have been to choose the easiest 2 or 3 questions out of the remaining 5 and just guess on the remaining ones. Just skip them. Use the time judiciously, essentially. These test-taking aspects now potentially you could need to work upon, and the mock tests are there to tell you what aspects you need to work on. So the strategy at that point, after you get a 565 or a 460 or whatever, a score lower than your expectation, is to figure out what else needs work. Spend time working on those aspects specifically. If you struggle with dealing with the constant shifting between topics, the contexts, so go create mixed bag questions, set of 10 questions, 12, 15 questions, and practice those so your brain just gets more used to such things. If stamina is a concern, work on specifically improving stamina. You don't have to necessarily take mock tests to improve in these aspects. You figure out specifically what aspects you feel you need to work on, and then you can devise plans to address those specific aspects. For stamina, for example, a great strategy could be just doing 3-4 reading comprehension passages back to back. I find that quite fairly exhausting. So whatever your number is, let's say you can comfortably do 2 passages today. Maybe add one to it, and then add another one slowly. So try and build the time that you can just be at one place, focus on questions, process them, answer them, yet not feel exhausted. Another trait we've worked upon for that student, if they did, according to them, do poorly on a particular section, that load of not doing well carried forward to the subsequent sections also. So while they would go through the remaining questions, they went through the motions, answered all the questions, but at the back of their mind, they had basically already decided this test is not going well. I'm going to complete it, but I don't really care about this test anymore because the first section didn't go well. Essentially, one bad thing happens, and then now everything is downhill from there. It's like, let's say, a batting team saying, oh, we lost 2 wickets in the first over, and now we can't basically recover from that. But we can. So that could be an aspect to work upon. So I'm here to tell you, a mock test is not there to evaluate your past preparation. If you get a score lower than your expectation in a mock test, don't take that to mean that your effort has been wasted. In fact, now that you worked in the nets, you have got that foundation, you have got those skills that will be required and that will help you immensely in the match or in the test. But just because you have those skills doesn't mean you will automatically perform well. Just that you need to work on some additional aspects also. In my experience, in many cases, working on these additional aspects takes much less time than working on those foundational skills. So don't fret, don't think like, oh man, I've already gone through such a long journey. Now it's going to take me another 1 year, another 2 years, or whatever it might be. Typically, it doesn't. Even if it does, that's fine. That's just the next stage. It's still not an evaluation of your past performance. Your efforts not been wasted. You just need to work on some additional things.